with that? I don't know what that was about, but anyway. We are going live, ladies and lady. Ladies and gentlemen, nature peeps of all ages. I'm going live as soon as I can bring up. Oh wait, it's Friday. Okay. Today, we are looking at the AZA accreditation process. That's the idea anyway. So we're going to take this step by step as much as possible into the process of a zoo or an aquarium getting accredited. And the zoo that is going to be accredited is going to be my zoo. It's not a real zoo. It's a zoo on paper. It is the Memorial Zoo. I'm hiding part of the name because it's my last name. I'm not giving that away. Only if you know, you know. So in order for a zoo or an aquarium to be accredited, there is an application process that the zoo has to go through. And this is a pretty substantial process. The accreditation process is overseen by a group of 16 individuals trained in zoo and aquarium operations, animal welfare, animal husbandry, and veterinarian medicine. These experts are impartial, and it is their job to thoroughly examine each and every zoo or aquarium that applies for AZA accreditation. Trust me when I say this process is not easy. Hello, second person that just chimed in. I don't know who you are because I can't see you yet. But we're gonna move on. If you have questions as we're going through this, don't be afraid to ask. However, I'm going to put a little bit of a disclaimer in at this point. I am not a member of any organization that is a part of the AZA. I've studied the different websites that have information about this on it. And so I have no experience in this. However, we're still going to discuss it. And I will do my best to answer your questions as best I can. So if I have anything wrong and you work for a zoo and you want to correct me, thumbs up. But let's get more into this. Carol, thank you for the like. And thank you for being here tonight. Hope everything went well today. I hope. So this is a very lengthy application that has to be filled out. After the application, the next step. No, you're fine. Oh, yeah, that's a problem. The application is pretty lengthy, and I imagine that it answers questions about the zoo and the aquarium in every aspect of its operation. But more on that a little bit later. So after the application is filled out, the next step is did I cover everything that was supposed to be covered? Yeah. Okay. So after the application, the next step is a multiple day on-site inspection. if I remember right, it is $2,000 to have them come out. And that is non-refundable. If you fail the process, you do not get your money back. Now, this process is going to look at animal welfare. Are the animals at the zoo or the aquarium in good shape? Animal care, animal management. I don't know. They're going to look at the veterinarian program at the zoo, the zoo's involvement in conservation. So, is the zoo involved in conservation? Research, because some zoos do have research going on as a part of it. Hey, predecessor. Oh, and you should know that when I say AZA, I am talking about the American Association of Zoos and Aquariums. There are other associations of zoos and aquariums, but not all of them are the American. And by the way, as Carol found out, the AZA also has zoos in Canada. So the program, this application process is around $2,000. I believe it's been a while since I've looked at it. The money end of it anyway. But after the application, very lengthy application, probably more than 4. I'm assuming it's more than 5 or 6 pages. Okay. They come into an inspection separate from the 16 people who I mentioned earlier. They are going to look at such things as animal welfare, care, and management, as well as the veterinarian program at that zoo or aquarium, the zoo's involvement in conservation programs, research, educational programs. What is the zoo doing to educate the public? Safety policies. What do you have in line in case an animal escapes or somebody hops a fence or somebody gets bit? Security. What does your security look like? The physical end of the zoo. Are your filters in the aquarium, are they functioning? Stuff like that. Guest services, and yes, even staff end of things. They also look at your finances, the leadership of the zoo, the support of the organization. The application, by the way, takes months to complete. It's not just, I'm going to fill this out in my spare time and everything's going to be cool. No, months to complete. The accreditation team may take as much as 6 months just to study and evaluate the application. So, any questions up to that point? Remember, I can't answer everything. Oh, man. But I will do my best to do that. So now we're going to get back into the actual inspection. And remember, the zoo that we are going to be inspecting is my own zoo. This is something that is only on paper. More than you know, predecessor, more than you know. So I have a zoo on paper, and literally it has everything. I'm not limited by anything other than my imagination. That's what's so cool. So during the inspection, as I mentioned earlier, this is a multiple day look at the zoo. They visit each and every area of the zoo, and not just exhibit areas. Does this eye look weird? Because to me, it looks weird. Maybe not. But it does to me. They're going to visit every area of the zoo, including the exhibits. Now, in my case, that would be 1, 2, 3. That would be 47 different exhibits, with some exhibits having multiple exhibits within it. They're also going to visit, they're going to interview the staff. They're going to look at records. They're going to animal collection. And I tell you how many species this place has. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, guys. So, Eric, have you been watching the whole time, or are you just now getting in? That's what I was afraid of. I really think I'm allergic to something at my brother's house. Okay. So then, after the inspection, they write a detailed report about what they saw and evaluated, and that is submitted to the commission. So then that's going to go to the 16 people. Really? Lovely. Great. My strength is okay, but my bars are really low. So after the application and the inspection team has done their thing, after the application and the inspection, the zoo then goes through a commission review where the findings of the inspection and the application are all reviewed. That hearing is closed to the public. But there are people, representatives from the zoo there to be a part of it. Every zoo and aquarium, every single zoo and aquarium that is a member of the AZA, these are your major zoos. They all have to go through this process every 5 years. So a zoo like Zoo Tampa, Zoo Miami, the Jacksonville Zoo, Brookfield Zoo, Lincoln Park Zoo, they are reviewed every 5 years, and a zoo can lose its accreditation. So you're not guaranteed that you're always going to be accredited. Some zoos have lost that accreditation, but you can get it back. Any questions about that process? For those of you who are out there, do you have a zoo there? The closest zoo to me is not AZA accredited, and it is in a city called Michigan City. But then about 45 minutes from where I'm located, we have Lincoln Park. Brookfield Zoo is a little bit further away, and then the Indianapolis Zoo, which is also AZA accredited, is 2 or 3 hours away. And then Fort Wayne Children's Zoo is in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and they have a pretty nice collection. So it's within an hour and a half, I believe. Yeah. We are pretty lucky. Zoos are not what they used to be when zoos first came around. It was because kings and queens would get exotic animals as gifts, and they needed a way to house the animals, and so they would make a zoo. Sometimes the public was welcome to come in and visit. Other times, nah. That doesn't always happen that way, but it does sometimes. I've always wanted in my head to have my own zoo. Carol will tell you that I play Planet Zoo, which is about as close as I'm going to get to having my own zoo. I also have this. This is my pipe green. This is my green. It is 45 different exhibits covering I wouldn't even say thousands, but possibly thousands of different species, maybe more. But getting back to zoos. Zoos used to be just for education. Or not for education, but you would come, you would see the animals, and you would go home. I can. It would take some work. I have roughly everything is typed up for it. I know how I want it to look, and everything. I can tell you about it if you want me to. Is that something you guys want to hear? But yeah. Okay, give me a minute or two. I have to print off my stuff. I wasn't thinking we were gonna go there, but I guess we are. Oh, come on. Sorry, y'all. I'm back. So it's printing, and as soon as it's done printing, I'll go get it. It's just a little something I threw together. I even have a species list somewhere. Okay. It's still not done. Thank you. Thank you. We're still missing somebody. Where is Joshua? Where is Joshua? I chased him off. Joshua, if you see this, please come back. Don't say that, Carol. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay. Seriously, I hate seeing people drop out like this. This is it. This is what you guys wanted. So, I don't have an exact name yet, but what is this place? This facility is home to over 55 species or more. We are home to a mix of creatures from worms, spiders, scorpions, and other invertebrates as well. We provide educational opportunities to the public and our surrounding communities. We do not provide a home for any vertebrate species, birds, reptiles, mammals, and amphibians. Reason for that being is, one, it gets way more expensive. If I wanted to be a part of the AZA, at any point, I'd have to pay more. Plus, the licensing is different if you have vertebrates compared with invertebrates. So there's that. Any of these animals found, any vertebrate animals, birds, reptiles, mammals, or amphibians found on the grounds are wild animals, and we do not go out of our way to provide homes and shelter for these animals. We understand that some of the plants that are on the grounds may be used for food, shelter, or maybe even homes for some wild species. We are also aware that the pond may be visited by wild animals, but they are not the property of the zoo. While we may take in invertebrate animals, the zoo cannot take in unwanted reptiles, amphibians, birds, or mammals. The animals that call the zoo home are property of the zoo. Some animals are rescues, and they get treated like any other animals on the in the zoo. So when you first arrive to the zoo, you are greeted by several bird feeders as well as a pollinator's garden. So that's in the front. Hi, Alberto. From there, you're welcome to spend a few minutes watching the birds and looking at the insects that are visiting the zoo's small garden. At the end of your visit, you are encouraged to see how many pollinators are actually in there. Inside the door, you will be greeted by a friendly member of the staff who will provide you with information on the zoo. We are talking about a potential zoo that I have created in my spare time. At least the paperwork for it. Upon entering the zoo, the first thing that you're going to see is a collection of... So the staff member will provide you with information on the zoo, will check you in, and invite you into the building. Upon entering the zoo, you will see a collection of animals from North America. A mix of critters, including but not limited to Oklahoma brown tarantula, Arizona blonde tarantula, Arizona brown millipedes, spitting spiders, Florida giant centipedes, and more, lots more. The next exhibit area is a display of items that will change monthly. So a lot of that will be a lot of that is going to be animals that it may be animals that are switched in and out, but it's probably going to be different displays of my personal belongings. The next display is a series of tanks that are all native animals. And when I say native, they are native to Indiana. And they will hold a variety of invertebrates from my area of Indiana. 7 rows of tanks are devoted to native species. Also to the right of those tanks will be a butterfly flyway. I haven't decided what that is going to look like or how that will be done, but that's what I'm planning. You may notice that on the outside of the zoo, there are going to be a lot of plants. Some of those plants are going to be used in feeding our butterfly collection as well as other invertebrates. We're hoping to be able to maintain our collection of butterflies, caterpillars, and chrysalis throughout the year. Please note that the butterfly exhibit will only be open for the spring and summer. The next exhibits will feature organisms from Central and South America. We're talking bird-eating spiders, centipedes, and maybe a few insects. After South America, we jump to Africa, where you might come face to face with the king baboon spiders, the beautiful but feisty orange baboon spider, and of course, African giant millipedes, along with emperor scorpions and even a few centipedes. I recently found out that the giant millipedes are super expensive. They're like $65 to over $100 a piece. So, yeah. That may not be a thing. But, next up are the Asian critters like the Vietnamese giant centipede, Asian forest scorpion, Singapore blue tarantula, as well as the cobalt blue tarantula. And you might think that the zoo ends with the Asian exhibits, but you would be wrong. Starting on the west wall are exhibits featuring babies of different species. In fact, there will be at least 2 different exhibits featuring babies. After the babies, you will get to see the chrysalis exhibit, which will be live chrysalis as they, once the caterpillars change into their chrysalis or their cocoons, those will be put into the display area so that you can see them as they hatch out. Or they don't really hatch out, but you know what I mean. The next 2 tanks are special exhibits. One will be a male tarantula, and the other one will be a female of that same species, so that you can see the difference between male and female. Oh, interesting. Okay. While the males typically are not going to be exhibited, just because usually they don't do a whole lot. I'm hoping to be able to breed. The babies would not be for sale though. While they are on display next to each other, the females slot in the rest of the zoo will not be open for exhibits. Australia has rules about their animals being on display or leaving the country, so it's really iffy that I would have Australian animals on exhibit. Next to those 2 tanks, we will have a display of crayfish. And after the crayfish, you will find terrariums that may house different species of plants that, again, may be used to feed our millipedes. Next, you will see 6 different display areas featuring my collection, which will include everything from skulls, molts, and fossils. On the east wall, you will find a tank that is filled with different animals. I don't know. Partially yes, partially no. Which will include leeches, water scorpions, hydra, which is a relative to the jellyfish. There will also be dragonfly nymphs, as well as other animals. Centipedes in Florida scare me. They're not scare me, but they get substantially bigger than the ones we have here. On the outside of the building, there will be 3 very special gardens. One will be a wild edibles garden. There will be a butterfly garden. Which will have plants that not only provide for butterflies to feed off of, but also their caterpillars. There will also may be a chance of seeing wild hummingbirds visiting the area. There will be a pond. And the next garden is going to feature a medicinal garden. These are plants that the indigenous people from Indiana might have used to cure themselves of disease or to heal cuts. And the next garden will be a mix of invasive and poisonous plants, if I'm able to do that. Please do not allow your kids or yourself to pick any of the plants featured in our gardens. None of the plants here are for you to eat or touch, and some of the plants could cause injury or rashes if touched. Bye, Alberto. Important to note that all animals undergo a month-long quarantine before being added into the zoo. Also, we do not exhibit males of all species. Those are primarily kept, I don't know, I think because as they move around, they sort of hum. Most species of male tarantulas will be kept in the back. And if you wanted to see those, you could pay extra for a special tour. And we may not even have all males on the premises. Just some things. This would be on the website. And by the way, all of this information would be on the website if I had one. Me too. I actually have poison ivy in my wildflower garden. That makes me sound very much like the Addams family. Wow. So this next part are things to remember when you visit the zoo. Keep your children with you. The staff is busy maintaining the animals and the plants that we have under our care, and they do not have time to watch your children. We ask that you don't tap on the enclosures. Some of our female animals could have egg sacs or have babies somewhere in their enclosure. Disturbing these animals could cause the zoo to lose these eggs or those babies. Oh no, that's not good. Mothers are known to eat their egg sacs or their young, and yes, unfortunately, I have had animals do both. So that comes from firsthand experience. If you are here for a field trip or a special event, please provide your receipt and ticket stub. All special events are first come, first serve events. Once they are full, we close the event. You can call the day of the event to see if we have any openings. Please call if you cannot make the event. That way we can open it up to others. And if you are attending a special event the day of the event, you will need to pay for the event up front. If you wish to set up an outreach program, this is where the zoo would come to you. It will be done virtually or in the classroom here at the zoo. It must be paid in advance. And It must be paid for in advance and all paperwork must be signed prior to the program. Oh. Children under the age of 18 must be escorted by an adult, and this goes for any and all programs offered by the zoo. People 18 and older are free to visit the zoo no matter what. Anything that you buy prior to entering the zoo proper must be kept up front. You must keep your receipt with you in order to pick it up, or you can always wait till the end of your day to visit. At the end of your visit to buy your item. Items are sold as is, and we do not do refunds on any items bought here at the zoo. If you schedule a field trip, private tour, or any one of the special programs and need to cancel it for any reason, please notify us at least 24 hours in advance. We will do our best to get your money back to you. Past that 24-hour mark, we can't repay you because your money will have already been used for the benefit of that program. Please understand that while some animals may be able to be held, we cannot allow our tarantulas or any other animal to be held by the public. Please understand that our animals are wild animals, and as such, they cannot be tamed. Holding any of our animals does pose some risk. Some risks, though, are too great for us to allow you to hold them. Some of our animals like to burrow, and though we do our best to ensure that our animals are visible, we want our animals to be comfortable in their enclosures. Therefore, they may not be visible at all times. Please be understanding of the fact and do not tap on the enclosures. That's very, very important. Even when you go to like a regular zoo, don't tap on the glass. You may notice that some of our animals have bald spots on their abdomen. That's because they kick hairs. If it's a female, those hairs will be replaced during their next molt. For our males, sadly, they won't be getting new hairs as they have already had their final molts. Me too. It not only smudges the glass, but it's just poor manners. No animals will be sold to the public. We are not a pet shop. We will on occasion have house plants for sale from our terrarium plants. Those can be bought here at the zoo. Again, we will only have so many plants to offer at any given time, and once they are gone, they are gone. Please make sure you're being courteous to fellow members or to fellow visitors. Oh, I think I just swallowed a bug or something. If you have a service dog, molting is the outside of the animal skeleton. So when they molt, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but that brown dot in the center, that is a spider molt. That's a tarantula molt. That is a baby. Very, very tiny. That's a baby. I grew that baby up and got to enjoy it as an adult. If you need special accommodations while visiting the zoo, please let the staff member who's up front know as you are paying your ticket. If you have a service dog, you are expected to clean up after it. Please bring materials to do so. Again, do not touch any plants outside in the gardens. While we do realize some are edible, we cannot provide samples for everyone who visits the zoo, so please leave them alone so others can enjoy them. Our animals also love the plants, and without the plants, we cannot provide for our plant eaters. So in case you're wondering, we would also be growing, if I ever got the zoo, we would also be growing our own vegetables as well. Of course, no pesticides could be used. One final note: all educators, admin, teachers, teacher aides, paraprofessionals, first responders, police, EMTs, paramedics, doctors, nurses, police, as well as military members from all branches. We would love to honor you year long. Please provide your ID from either work or your military branch for a special discount at the zoo. Another thing that we would be doing is when we take in an animal, there is a form that would be filled out, as well as just some finer things that basically say that I understand that my animal becomes the property of the zoo and as such will not be returned. We are not a boarding facility. I understand this, and once this form is signed, the adoption process is finalized. Oh, I would not doubt it. So then the next part is the business plan. At the time when I made this up, I still had animals. So my animals would have been added to the zoo as part of my collection. I have 20 at the time. I had 21 years of experience with special needs kids. I also have 30 plus years of experience working with invertebrates. All prices are posted at the zoo and on the website. You are not allowed to handle any of the animals. We are not a pet shop. No animals are for sale to the public. If you need to rehouse an animal under your care, please speak with a zoo worker. We do take in animals that the public can no longer keep. Understand, though, once your animal is turned over to us, it becomes zoo property. We offer of course, the zoo would be open to the public. We also would have a YouTube channel, which offers all the different things going on around at the zoo. And members of the zoo gain free membership to the channel. We may offer live events via the channel and or special videos. Yes, it would. You would just you would somehow need to prove that you were in the military. That's the only thing. Somehow. I'm not saying that I don't want to believe somebody coming up, but yeah. In the late summer, as we begin to look at our native plants, clippings may be available to the public for a price. Prices at this time are not available. So we would, from time to time, be thinning out some of the plants. Those would need to be given to us or would be available for sale. I don't have payment methods, transportation expenses, like if you ask us to come out to your organization, there would be a transportation cost. Parking would probably be free. Hours of operation. So this is for the staff. So 7 o'clock, first shift, comes in for their meeting. This is also when the zookeeper for the day would come in, and they would join us for the meeting, and then they would leave at noon. So staff comes in, they have their meeting. 7:30, staff reports to their workstation. This is when people that are coming in to participate in feeding day or the feeding times will arrive to follow staff. 8 a.m., we open up for field trips or special events. 9 a.m., we open up to the public. 11 a.m., first person from each crew will have lunch, or one person from each crew will have lunch, duty-free lunch. Noon, one person from each crew will have lunch. That would be my lunch as well. First, one person from each staff prepare reports for the next shift. So each area will have somebody whose job it is to write out that report. 2 o'clock to 3, team 1 shift ends. Second shift has a meeting. And then second shift reports to stations. From 3 to 4, we open for general public. That means that we do close from 2 to 3, so we can have our meeting. And then from 3 to 4, open to general public. Prepare for after school or evening presentations. And then 6 to 7 is lunches for second shift. 8 to 9 begin closing up for the night. And that is when the shifts for the second shift writes up the notes for the morning and lock up at 9 p.m. If a person is doing a tour and it is their lunchtime, they will finish the tour and then immediately have lunch. Now, I know you're all wondering, well, how much does it cost to get in? These prices are set low because I want people to be able to come in. They would probably be raised, by the way. Adults 18 to 59, $8. Adults 6 to, don't ask. Adults 6 to whatever are $4. Teens 13 to 17, $4. Ages 6 to 12, $3. Kids under 6 are free. Students, including high school and college students, must show school IDs. If they do, they get $2 off admission. Members of the military and educators, first responders, 10% off their admission. Memberships. I did not. Individuals can sign up for membership at $20. Families, $40. College-age kids will be covered if they live at home. Grandparents, you can sign up for $10. Grandkids up to ages of 21 are covered in your admission, up to 10 kids. So if you have 10 kids and you're a grandparent, or if you have 10 grandkids with you, they are covered by your membership when they're with you. The Invertebrate Club is $80, and the Jungle membership is $100. This is what you get with membership. All levels get free admission to the zoo for the year. So think about it. $20 admission. If you're an individual, you get free admission to the zoo year-round. All levels get 5% off any item that is for sale. Mostly that will be plants, although we might offer molts for sale too. Teachers who join the Invert Club, so if a teacher spends $80 for membership, they get 10% off their field trip. All admissions get e-news from the zoo that announces all events, births, molts, plant sales, if any. The Invert Club and the Jungle have a limit of 3 free guest admission for any visit. So if you join under that $80 price, that's fine. Or a $100 admission, or the $100 the $80 membership, or the $100 membership, you can get 3 free people to come into the zoo during your visit. Guest admission for individuals is $2 off admission. Family, $2 off on guest admission. Grandparents, $2 off guest admission. So if you have somebody and you can't afford, they're not covered by the other end of it, they do get off. You do get money off. All levels get early registration to camps, tours, and events, plus 15% off total price of said event. Members can also get membership to the YouTube membership when it becomes available. Invert Club and the Jungle get advance notice on all camps and other activities going on at the zoo. You would get a card for membership. If you do not have that card at the time of entry, you do not get your discounts. So, it's just tough luck. Our tours that we offer are behind the scene. Participants get to see behind the scenes of our operation. It is $5 per person. Children under 4 are free. Trust me when I say that you don't get that at AZA zoos. The complete tour participants are led through the display areas and end in a special presentation in which participants will get to see some critters up close. That is $25 for that. Animal adoptions. Yes, the zoo, you can adopt an animal for $25. You get to name the animal if it is not named. You get notice of birth, molt, or matings. And if your animal dies during the year, you will have the option to adopt another animal of your choice. Halloween, we have a very, very real cool thing. It is limited space only, but we offer at Halloween, we have Sleep with the Spiders. It is $5 for pass holders and $10 per person. 1 adult for all children required for each child. That would be done inside the classroom. And we would set up tanks along there are animals that we will have inside the display area or inside the classroom. different from the animals that you will see on the tour. Outreach programs. These programs will be available to groups to experience either here at the zoo or virtual. The animals would not be roaming around. They would be inside their tanks. Tarantulas and their kin, tarantulas, their world, arthropods, insects, herps. We would be talking about those, but not offering live ones. Skulls and things, food chain, backyard critters, predators, rainforest, my home, which looks at habitats that animals live in, defenses, snakes, dental formulas, native animals, food web, pet care, herbivore, carnivore, omnivore, where do I live, exotic fruits and spices, what do I eat, insects, beneficial and harmful, body coverings, venomous and poisonous, endangered species, adaptations, relationships in nature, introduced and invasive species, myth busting, special programs, only available at the mini zoo. Ask about getting these programs for your family for $25. Must show a receipt to get the program. Training sessions. Micros. Freshwater invertebrates. Zookeeper for a day. The mix. Live animal experience. Insect hunt. Medicinal garden. Edible wild gardens. Overnight package. Again, for $25, you can come in and spend the night. Students who would like to work around the animals, please speak with the owner. Sales. The zoo will occasionally have molts that are put up for sale. Molts are sold as is, and when they are gone, they are gone. Prices vary based on the size of the molt. Prices include the cost of the frame that the molt was put into. We sell old clippings from our wildflower garden, our gardens, in the fall. On occasion, we do need to do maintenance on the terrariums in the zoo, and those clippings will be potted and sold to the public as well. Prices are final. If you are a zoo member, please show membership card before checking out at the zoo. And then basically the next information is basically for the staff. Animal support crew, entire day will be focused on the animals. Crew will attend meetings in the morning, and we will review any and all events for the day. Crew will check Google Sheets for notes from last shift. That sounds like our MCM. First crew in the morning will be in charge of feeding and removing uneaten food from the day before. There shouldn't have been any live food in the tarantula and scorpion tanks. Any refusals should be removed from the enclosure. I don't know. It depends. Carol, it depends on how much that costs me. Next, they will grab feeding tongs and remove and empty water dishes and then refill those dishes. Any molts should be removed and taken to the back room, and then the molts needed to be recorded on Google Sheets. All feeding and waterings should also be recorded. Make sure the feeding animals have fresh food and old food has been removed. Back room. Responsible for maintaining the non-living displays. They are also responsible to see that the education staff has the correctly signed out materials that they need for any programs or field trips. They are responsible for preparing all molts for sale. Backroom staff are also going to be in charge of maintaining the animals in quarantine. So if the animals are in quarantine, the backroom staff is in charge of feeding them and seeing that all of their needs are met. They will also need to follow the same procedure as the animal support crew. They will see to it that any materials needed are requested via the office staff. We'll set up tanks for any animals that need to be removed from the quarantine. They will also be in charge of taking down any tank of any animal that has died. Set up tanks for quarantine animals once the animal has arrived. I don't want animals sitting in their shipping containers. Pictures are to be taken of any dead animals that arrive immediately, and pictures are to be sent immediately to the office staff so that they can be sent to the company who shipped the animals. Education staff, you are responsible for any programs, presentations, and field trips. You are the primary tour guides. So, Carol, if you are, or Eric, if you were working for me on education staff, you are responsible for all programs, presentations, and field trips. You are the primary tour guides. You have all the equipment you need for the day lined up beforehand, so it is in the classroom ready to go. You are responsible for checking out and checking in of all non-living and living display materials. If you are using a male tarantula, please take one from the back room. Do not take the one from the zoo display. If you are using live tarantulas, please do not take any animals from the quarantine room, as taking them through the display area would lead to a problem. If you have questions on any animal, please contact the owner. You are responsible for taking groups through the zoo and treating all our guests with love. Office staff, you are the scribes for meetings. You will greet any and all visitors, collect their fees, and issue tickets. You are responsible for all ordering. You will be the first person that people interact with at the zoo, so professionalism is a must. You will help people through the adoption process, as well as handle all membership inquiries. Gardeners, you are responsible for the gardens. It is your job to ensure that all plants are maintained without the use of poisons or sprays. It is your job to see that the herbivores and omnivores have food for the day that is ripe. You are responsible for all interior terrariums. You will take cuttings and see that the cuttings are planted when the time is right. You are also responsible for assisting education staff and leading groups through the gardens. You will be responsible for placing orders of seeds or plants if needed, as well as orders for plant or plant supplies. So, yeah, that is that. Any thoughts, any questions on that? Hi, Alberto. No, that is the beautiful thing. Because we are a insect zoo, we are not required to have a vet. So the zoo on paper that I have has an aquarium, a full aquarium, not just a few tanks, but big tanks. Rainforest exhibits, small mammals, venom house, insect house, a house, basically it's reptiles, but it also has amphibians, South America, North America, invertebrates, Asia, children's zoo, unlike any children's zoo that has ever been planned, polar regions, predators, our homes, primate house, herds, nocturnal world, islands, birds of prey, mountains, Middle East, Europe, waterfowl lake, Africa, flamingo lake, Madagascar trail, perching birds, deserts, grasslands, African savanna, Okavango delta, pachyderm, American prairie, Australian house, urban animals, India the supercontinent, aquatic birdhouse, Alaskan journey, China, Mexican wildlife, habitat house, Central America, national parks, nocturnal world, islands, birds of prey. Oh wait, I already read that. Bird show, mystical creatures, creatures of the past, and Viking lands. Is there a gorilla behind me? No. No gorillas behind me. But I do have a gorilla in front of me. Oh! No. Godzilla is not me. I am sorry, Alberto. I'm sorry, eyes. Very tired. I love those lips. Right there. So yeah. The next live is Saturday at 6 p.m. It is we're again talking about zoos. And we are talking about species survival plans. Not me. Currently, though, I am trying to get back into playing, right now my brain is gone. I am playing Ark Survival. And, yeah. The next Learn to Care, if you're interested, is going to be Orangutan on June 14th. What did you guys think? Did you enjoy? Any questions on anything I talked about tonight? Or any questions on the channel? Also, you may have noticed that the shorts had not been posted. That's because I have been very, very tired. I doubt it. If Eric says that he plays it, he probably really plays it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was trying to look at the other zoos in the area, and I'll be honest, I don't think I should charge half of what they pay. It's $35, $37 just to get into the shed. But can you imagine my channel being done at the zoo? That's not true, Carol. Not entirely true. There are zoos who have and do exhibit bugs. And I not bugs but insects and other stuff. Um Lincoln Park actually has a spider in a corner of the wall, and it stays in that corner. No, that's true. But there are other insect zoos. I did not think it would take us this long to get through that. Wow. I wish I could message you guys outside of YouTube. I'm sorry to hear that, Alberto. I did not see Mexi Beats did not come in tonight. Some zoos I don't know. So my tanks would look pretty much like what you see up there. They would be either the glass or the critter keeper tanks, like the plastic ones, like the one that is right here, like the one that's right there. And yes, no, I don't have any. But I use very interesting hides in my tanks. They're plumber's elbows. I think my eye looks better. Yeah, I went in just because the recruiter was like, "Oh yeah, we'll take you." My dad laughed. He's like, "No." He said the backpack would weigh as much as I did. Veterinary food inspector. Interesting. I'm trying not to touch it. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I need to run. Oh, okay, cool. I guess we'll stay for a little bit longer. Um, why did I do that? I don't know. Do I have Saturday's live ready to go? Yes, I do. Good. Okay, guys, I need to sign off. Have a great evening. Remember to never give up on yourselves and always keep learning, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good evening.